Welcome to the Heal Deal Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Leona Allen, and I'm here to help you achieve more freedom in your health and your life. I'm the founder of Freedom Health Systems, and I've been a licensed chiropractor and wellness coach for over 2 decades. I've helped men, women, and children transform their lives by removing the physical, chemical, and emotional barriers to natural healing. Every week, I'll be taking you on a journey where you will discover the real truth behind what it takes to heal your mind, body, and soul. Allow me to be your guide as you travel this road to renewed health and a new life. It's time to make a deal with yourself to heal yourself. Please keep in mind that this podcast is for educational purposes only and not to be used as a replacement for medical diagnosis or treatment. With that said, let's begin. It's that time of year again, just the season. It's the most wonderful time of the year. Whatever you want to call it, it's also the most sabotaging time of the year. So whether you participate in all the holidays or not, you really need to listen to this because it's that time of year when sugar creeps in every meal, snack, drink, treat, whatever. From Halloween to January 1st, many people are going to fall into the trap of overindulgence. And by January 1st, wonder why they gained 8 to 10 pounds, why they have colds and flus, why are they having chest pains, or so many other things that tend to happen around this time of year. Because, when we hear flu season, right? I don't really think it's flu season. I think it's an immune dysfunction season because all this sugar is depressing everyone's immune system. But I figure right now would be a good time to really help you stop this cycle before it starts because it happens year after year after year. Many people tend to overindulge this time of year, and then January 1st, think they could just miraculously get back on track. We got to understand this. Whether you do it or you don't, this is still important information to truly understand because these are patterns that maybe you have overcome, but maybe your children are doing it or your children's children. But this is a cycle that has to stop. I'm just here to really answer questions that a lot of you have and just use this time to start creating healthy habits and not wait until January 1st to do so. Because what I like to tell people is this, it's like if you can learn to do this when all this stuff is around you, all the sugars and pies, if you can do it now when the temptations are around you, it'll be easy. Because think about it, here is just seems like back to back to back. But even after January, okay, you're still going to have birthdays and anniversaries and graduations and this and that. So there's always going to be a reason. So whether you start now or not, just know that you just have to start and just know what your triggers are. And I get it. Okay, I've been there. I'm just speaking from a place of experience. I'm speaking from a place of what a lot of my clients go through, but it is possible. It's possible to lose weight this time of year. I've done it and I've had clients do it. Why? Because they educated themselves and they learned certain methods and strategies to overcome the overabundance of sugary foods this time of year. Okay, whether you celebrate or not, somebody's going to want to bring you cookies. Someone's going to bring you a fruit cake. Somebody's going to want to bring you a pie because some people like to bake and they'll make pies for the whole neighborhood or pies for everyone they know. Don't be afraid to say no, thank you. After a while, if you say no a few times, they'll give it to someone else. Don't feel bad, okay? So what I'm going to talk about today is how sugar sabotages your health and also to start encouraging you to start building healthy habits now. You don't have to wait until January 1st. You can start October 27th. You can start November 3rd. It doesn't matter. All right, so let's go ahead and move into the topic at hand and let's talk about the hidden dangers of sugar. I mean, sugar's everywhere. We know it's in our candies, cakes, cookies, pies, and ice cream, but it's also lurking in places that you least expect. So these are the types of things that I want you to be aware of, because you'll find sugar in your sauces, in your salad dressings, in your health foods, your low fat, low calorie products and granola bars and cereals. So you'll find it everywhere. And sugar is sneaky. And over time, we know about the obvious sugar and try not to eat too much at once, but people don't realize that they're eating it all throughout the day. And it may not be hurting you immediately, but over time, it can start to cause serious damage to your body. And these are some of the impacts of excessive sugar intake: cardiovascular disease. Did you know that consuming 17 to 21% of your daily calories from added sugars can increase your risk of dying from cardiovascular disease by 38%? I mean, these are the things that we need to know. We take things for granted because, again, you eat the sugar, you might get a headache, get a sugar rush or something like that. But people need to understand that as a regular intake of sugar, either direct sugar or hidden sugar, you can increase your risk of cardiovascular disease by 38%. And this is another one that most of us are familiar with, is weight gain and obesity, because sugar is the major culprit behind weight gain. What's happening is a lot of you are trying to change your diet, but for example, you're eating salads, but you're having that high sugar salad dressing on your salad. Or you're snacking on trail mix and there's sugar in the trail mix, because sometimes they put M&Ms in trail mix and all the dry fruit and things like that. So we got to be careful, because sometimes just changing your diet and going to the gym a little bit is not enough. So we got to look at your sugar intake and understand that it is a major culprit behind weight gain. Because when we eat more sugar than our bodies need, it is converted to fat, period. It's almost that simple. The challenge is knowing where the sugar is and ensuring that our body can metabolize and burn the fat. But we got to understand the connection and how our bodies function so we can start to treat our bodies in a way that will encourage health and weight loss. Because like I said, as you're eating these hidden sugars and the more obvious sugars, over time, this does lead to insulin resistance, which I love to talk about a lot, which over time, insulin resistance, when it's unchecked, can turn into type 2 diabetes. So we look at our weight, we look at obesity, and this doesn't happen overnight. So gradually you're gaining weight through the years, and then you want to lose it quickly without incorporating long-term strategies in your dietary and sugar intake. So that leads to type 2 diabetes. Again, insulin resistance is a precursor to diabetes. And a lot of you know that there is a clear link between added sugars and type 2 diabetes. In the South, they call it sugar diabetes because they know there is a connection. And also, you need to be aware of liver disease. I used to suffer from non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, or NAFLD. And there is a clear link between excessive sugar and non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And one of the main sugars is high fructose corn syrup. And another thing about non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is it can go years without being detected. Okay, it has to be really bad before anyone realizes that they have it. I happened to catch it because I got blood work done and I was able to see, oh my goodness, I have fatty liver disease. And at that time in my life, I wasn't eating a lot of the obvious sugars, but I was doing a lot of those hidden sugars. I was eating a lot of the granolas and the gluten-free products and things like that. So I was getting a lot of my sugars that way. Organic cookies, organic ice cream. I was doing that, and I still managed to get non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Okay? So we got to take this stuff seriously, especially when we're allowing our children to participate, because we're setting them up for a very unhealthy adulthood. And I know a lot of you are saying, well, they need to have fun and all that stuff, but they can have fun without all this candy and sugar. You can teach your children how to do that. Yes, they're going to get exposed to it. Yes, they may get it in school. And yes, somebody's going to give it to them. But if you start to teach your children now the impacts of sugar, they will eventually start to understand. And when it's time for them to make their own choices, they will make those choices. My children are aware of this. Yes, they eat candy, but they probably don't eat as much as a lot of kids because I don't keep the stuff in my house. But they have a healthy appetite. They'll eat other things. They'll eat fruit. They eat their vegetables. So they're getting a lot of nutrients. Where unfortunately, there's a lot of children out there that are eating a lot of candy and they're deficient in a lot of other nutrients because they're not eating whole foods. They're eating a lot of microwave foods. They're eating a lot of packaged foods. They're eating a lot of snacks, and they're not getting the nutrients they need. And as they become adults, they're wondering why they have all these health issues, because a lot of our health issues, as you can see, come from chronic intake of sugar as well as nutritional deficiencies. So we got to think about this as well, that sugar is also an anti-nutrient. So not only you may not be getting the nutrients you need, the sugar is actually depleting the little that you have. So we got to take this seriously. And that's why I want to share this information with you now, especially this time of year, so you can go through the season without the flare-ups and without all the other things that go along with it. Because I remember working with clients and they'll go all year without any kind of asthma attack or bronchitis or pneumonia or something like that. But when they tend to overindulge, that's when their sickness comes in, and they don't connect it with that. You just think every winter I have a flare up, but they're not connecting their flare ups with the excess sugar intake. And once they become more mindful of what they're eating, they realize that they can get through this time of year without all these setbacks, and you can too. But first, you got to recognize the connection and then start to create strategies to eliminate these triggers. All right. That's my purpose, to help you overcome today. Now, what I want to do is start giving you some tips so you can start building your healthy habits now. So don't think of this time of year as, you know what, I don't even want to start. I don't even want to try. We really can't have this attitude, because more than likely you've been doing this year after year after year. And I can almost guarantee that you're not getting better. You're actually getting worse. Okay. So we really need to learn how to build these healthy habits now. And I believe that now is the best time to do it, because a lot of people gain a majority of their weight the last 3 months of the year. And then if you continue this cycle, gain 10 to 15 pounds a year, year after year, that 15 turns to 30, that 30 turns to 45. And then before you know it, you're 50 to 80 pounds overweight. So let's not wait till that 10 pounds becomes 80 pounds. You need to learn how to handle this now, because before you know it, this time of year will be right back and you'll be repeating the cycle over and over and over again. So you know it's coming. Again, I'm talking to the people that participate or involved. You know, me personally, I don't participate in a lot of these things. I'm pretty much at home doing my own thing. I don't overindulge in any of this. It's not a reason for me to do it. So holiday events, I have no problem saying no, I'm good. But some of you feel obligated to go to the holiday events. Some of you feel obligated to say yes to the gift of pie or whatever. Okay. I don't even know what people do anymore, but I just know it's out there. Okay. It's advertised heavily. So the thing is, plan ahead. You know it's coming. It happens at the same time every year. It doesn't have to be a sugar fest. So start to get used to some alternatives. All right. Like, for example, in my book, Shop and Savor, I'll put the link in the show notes. There's some great alternatives that you can start to incorporate. For example, I recently posted on my YouTube channel a cauliflower mac and cheese recipe. Is it like the mac and cheese that you're used to? Probably not, but it is a good alternative as you're in this journey. So start to plan ahead, plan your menu, or if you're going to some kind of gathering or party or potluck, maybe make your own food so you don't feel obligated to eat someone else's. Another tip is eat before you go. That way you're eating your own healthy choices. And when you go there, you're not hungry and you don't feel like that you have to eat everything that you see. So you just got to make good choices. You got to plan ahead. You know it's coming. But if you have good food around you, you'll eat good food. All right. And this is another thing I want to say, planning ahead and making sure you just add healthier choices to the menu. Have choices. All right. You could fill up on healthy greens. You could fill up on a healthy salad. You could fill up on, vegetables and good, healthy protein. And that way you're not filling up on all the sugary foods. So that's one thing you can do, is to plan ahead. Another thing is I want to speak to the people that have been on this journey and have worked on their health this year. And you may have lost 10 pounds already, and then you're afraid that you'll gain it back at the end of the year. So what you got to do is practice the things that work. Don't stop because it's the end of the year. That's another thing people do, is like, you know what? I did good for the first 9 months, so I'm just going to splurge and relax and have fun and not worry about it. You can't have that attitude. You have to continue to do it even during this time of year. If you've been working out, keep working out. If you've been eating low carb, keep eating low carb. If you've been intermittent fasting, keep doing what works. All right. And then really keep the impact of these sugary foods avoided at all costs. I mean, as you heal, you're going to realize things may end up being too sweet. But I believe a lot of people feel like that's the thing to do because everyone else is doing it. And I know I've been there. Oh, you got to eat this. You got to eat something. How can you do? I mean, you feel pressured. That's why over time I ended up just staying home because I don't want to go through that. I'm fine preparing my own meals and eating at home. And another thing is stay with the program. Don't tend to overindulge. Don't try to eat things that you haven't normally eat. And if you do, don't eat too much of it. And if you are cooking and preparing it, use better ingredients. Okay, I remember making a sweet potato pie with like a nut crust. I use organic sweet potatoes. And what I sweetened it with, I don't know. I know I didn't use white sugar. Sweet potatoes naturally sweet, so I can't remember. I think I used dates. But I used different ingredients that were healthier. So healthier recipes are out there. Again, check out my book, Shop and Savor. You'll learn some other alternatives and healthy strategies for cooking. But you got to educate yourself. You got to start finding healthier ways to do this. Really practice mindful eating. Really practice smaller portions and really don't overdo it. And like I said, I've helped many people that's in this cycle, and what they ended up doing was actually start to lose weight during this time of year instead of gain, because they became more mindful and started to be real intentional about their decisions and their health. I mean, as we speak, I got clients that are cleansing right now while everybody's splurging. I got clients that are detoxing and fasting. And people be like, oh, that's boring. That's not fun. Well, for me, being healthy is a lot of fun. And that's what we got to do, is we have to have that mindset. But it starts with you, and you starting to create these strategies on how to be healthy despite the holidays and everything that's happening around you. All right. I just wanted to encourage you this time of year to really start to make good choices in your life and just be accountable for your actions. Let's just start to change our mindset and just say, today is the day I'm going to renew my health and my life. And if you need help with that, let me know. I'll have all my contact information in the description notes on how you can start your journey. And if you need coaching and accountability, especially this time of year, let's have a conversation so we can talk about that. So in summary, make that commitment right now. You don't need a date on the calendar to tell you when to start something. And like I said, these holidays and all that stuff's going to happen, whether you participate or not. There's going to be temptation around you, either at the office, at school, family members bringing stuff to you. But just know that it's there. and just commit that you're not going to allow this season to sabotage your efforts, and you're not going to allow this season to prevent you from even starting. So don't wait until January to focus on your health, and really enjoy focusing on your health, your mind, and making sure that you understand that every choice you make, whether it's now, January, in the middle of summer, just know that every choice you make matters. It doesn't matter what time of the year it is. So we have to be focused and don't fall into any of the traps that are going to be laid out for you. There's always going to be a trap. All right. There's always going to be some kind of festivities happening in your world. But it just seems like this year it's back to back to back. I mean, it starts off with Halloween, and then you have Thanksgiving, and then you have Christmas, and then you have New Year's, and then you have things in between, right? You got the office parties. You got the end of the year parties. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like there's a lot going on. And then other things are happening. I mean, people are dealing with emotional stress, loss. People are just down. I mean, they say it's the most wonderful time of the year, but it isn't for everybody. So don't fall into this trap this time of year. It happens every year, and I don't want you to come out of it another 10 pounds heavier. So let's start building those healthy habits now. And January 1st, you'll be ahead of the game, and you'll be very pleased at how far you come. I love it when people roll into the new year and they're already on the journey. That feels good versus starting over again and again and again when you knew that this is the 4th, 5th, January 1st, you made these promises to yourself. So start now. Once again, I got some resources in the show notes. I have lots of tools and strategies and events that can help you. For example, I have the cookbook Shop and Savor that I talked about. You can set up a breakthrough call if you want to have a conversation with me. And I also have a metabolic reset challenge that I do about 4 times a year. So that's a good way to reset. And I have another one coming up in November. So this is a great year to just really surround yourself with some healthy strategies. And I strategically scheduled it for November 10th because I wanted people to get some strategies in place so they can get through this season healthier than they were before it started. All right. So once again, thank you for your attention. Let me know what you think of this episode. Like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment. And until next time, go out there and achieve more freedom in your health and your life. Take care. Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you enjoyed the show, seal the deal to heal by leaving a review, subscribing to the podcast, and sharing with a friend. Thanks again, and we'll continue the journey next week.